I just love how unapologetically whiplash this latest episode of Bleach was, because knowing that next week is the end, yes, we have 2 episodes to go, but as we know, those 2 episodes are airing back to back next week. So we are going to have one hell of a Bleach finale for sure, very similar to that of Core 1, I'm absolutely positive. But the idea that with Shutara, man, like, this is some of the best whiplash, if not the best whiplash, of thinking I know what to expect to then completely having pie on my face. Because when I see just this dude pop up, and honestly, the fact that, you have an ability that was just cutting through fools, it sounded like rubber, it was like this jelly sound effect just ripping through the guards. And then Shutara comes in and just skewers the fool. And you're like, okay, you're setting the stage that she is going to absolutely one-shot so many of these fools, to then just bring in literally C, who then compresses the Iron Giant and then just completely pushes her into a goddamn ball of flesh after being headshotted. I was convinced. I was like, okay, if they're gonna bait us, the headshot is immediately gonna be resolved. And instead, they seemingly kill her off, only to then just say, oh hey, this is all just a big old fake out, now we're gonna screw with you. Absolute whiplash, and I had no idea what to expect, and at this point, I'm not even placing bets on who's gonna win this fight. Now, before we jump any further, gotta mention, we have a full live reaction to today's pretty insane Bleach episode over on my Patreon if you're interested in seeing that. I mean, every week, the past 3 or 4 weeks, you feel like, oh man, this is my new favorite Bleach episode, because it really does keep the adrenaline going, and it really doesn't feel like we have time to catch our breath. Just when I think, okay, this is the cool moment, like I said, Shutara, like just skewering, and honestly, Squad Zero, I'm glad they're seemingly getting their time to shine here, because this is a pretty intense situation. Ichigo and the crew are coming on up. I mean, that rocket just looks like someone's gonna vomit in it, because it's like wiggling all over the place. You know someone's gonna be coughing up some of their lunch, because that thing just didn't look like a fun ride. But ultimately, what I've been very much happy with kind of like the middle to later points of this core, is the fact that they're giving other characters outside the main cast, without needing Ichigo on screen to fight and do these really cool things. And I appreciate the fact that in their final arc, all the characters that you've grown to at least know at the very least are now getting their kind of badass moments to shine. And this episode started off on a pretty cool moment with a flashback that's all in black and white, and the only color we really see is that of the blue glow that happens, whether it's the Quincy King or other characters doing something. And honestly, kind of setting the stage of pretty much saying, like, you guys basically know nothing, leave everything to us, and you guys just go back and do your own thing. You're pretty much babies. And the idea of, like, you can't open your eyes, and then ending the episode the way they did, it just feels like, okay, this is such a brilliantly directed episode, because I'm thinking, with how they start this episode, that's going to be the main focus, right? A rematch or something like that. And instead, what we end up getting is 2 really cool moments from 2 really cool characters. And like I said, the Shutara stuff was awesome because she really did feel like a queen in that moment. She was absolutely just decimating their forces. And when it starts looking like, oh shit, they're actually countering her quite well, and just the fact that I legit believed it. I 100% did. I initially didn't. When she got shot in the head, I was like, nope. What's going to happen is she's, there's going to be an illusion right there, or it's going to be healed. It would be an immediate thing. And instead, they crumpled her up into a ball and rolled her off like she was a soccer ball. And I'm like, okay. I believe that. And when the illusion kind of came in and we start seeing, like, it's almost like drapes kind of flapping, we're seeing the sky and everything, and then like the drapes start kind of moving, and then we see all of Squad Zero just roll up. Really cool. But I gotta admit, I'm gonna call it Jelly Sword. That's honestly what I'm gonna refer to it as, because it looks so silly on paper, because just having a sword in basically a cube full of water or liquid of some sort. But you have to admit, the One Slice Man, he is a badass. Like, at face value, the personality you would assume could one-shot anyone in that crowd. But you have to admit, when he's kind of talking, he's been a bit of a show pony here in a way. And just the fact that the sword, the way it bends after being coated and everything, is just so cool, because he's going from person to person to person, slicing and dicing, only a few left standing, and what does the Quincy King do? Tosses that thing in the air, and he's like, I got unfinished business elsewhere. People can deal with this back here. Just a very captivating episode that really had some insane jaw-dropping moments. it definitely had shock value without kind of relying on it. I mean, there's a couple of moments where I'm just like, oh my god, that's savage. I mean, on one hand, I have to wonder how sometimes Squad Zero doesn't get covered in blood, given the fountain that is basically squirting around them. But you have to admit, this was a very entertaining, just, you don't see it coming episode, unless of course you read the manga for this stuff. But it felt like this is what I love about Bleach, is that because we have 4 cores of this brilliance, we get to see characters who would normally be cut down, skimmed down, and maybe not even have a focus at all in a normal anime if it was like this. I mean, sure, if this was just constantly a long-running Bleach anime with no breaks whatsoever, you know, obviously things might have been a little more stretched, or they would have added some filler to basically pad it out. But the idea of kind of getting this arc now after all this time, having so many animators, you know, refine their talents over the years, it just feels good to see what they're able to pop out. And as I've said over different videos, just watching what they're doing with Thousand Year Blood War just has me so hopeful of just other arcs that could maybe come back after such a long period of time to get the closure that they definitely deserve. Because honestly, with all the anime sequels being greenlit after all these years, really anything's possible at this point, it feels like. To be honest, I'm not sure what I would say my overall favorite moment is, because on one hand, the shock value of the headshot to then the compression pretty much has to be it, but at the same time, when someone can come in with such a ridiculous aura and energy and draw that blade and just one slice, seriously, a single slice, and I love how the big rifle, and this thing looks like it could destroy a tank if it hit it. Like, honestly, it kind of feels like an anti-Titan rifle in a way. The fact that, you know, after seeing what that thing can do to her, to have him just so casually just separate everything. And I love how, you know, they're not even really mad as they're getting cut apart. They're almost just kind of shocked, like, damn, bro, you're actually pretty talented. I kind of like that mutual kind of like chaos energy of kind of just being like, you know what? I can't even be mad you're about to kill me, because that was actually a pretty good play, all things considered. But either way, this episode, honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect. At first, when they were kind of directing everything, I thought we were really going to focus on Ichigo this week, but I was like, you know what, like, given how they've been doing things, it feels like more either he would have something very important with the finale of this core, or he would be more relevant in core 3. And the fact that they're giving Squad Zero their time to shine and just allowing them to flourish, I like that, because when we were on the ground and we were seeing all the different characters who normally wouldn't get major time to shine unless Ichigo was on screen, the fact that now we're getting that with Squad Zero as well is really awesome. And honestly, this season of Bleach has just been an absolute roller coaster. Now, those are just my feelings. I'd love to know what everyone thought, especially if when you read the manga, how did you envision this in the anime, and did it live up to your expectations? And for those anime originals, what did you think, and what was your personal favorite moment? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction to this bad boy over on my Patreon. And hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out like Stritar, Subject 3, SJ Magarum, Taco Tuesday, Tamara Burt, and Taylor are getting today. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.